Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
Let me tell you, the dopamine, it's flowing.
I am damn excited. Damn excited.
We are so excited to be joining you guys tonight.
Oh! Well, how you doing, man? Patrick.
Will Sterling.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score!
And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.
We're finally here. Chiefs football is so back. Not that it ever went anywhere, right, Sterling? He's Sterling Holmes. I'm Adam Best. I think I have a new motto for the 2025 season, and that's the Elvis lyric, a little less conversation, a little more action, because from March to August, we have to sit back and listen to 31 fan bases and football talking heads operate in a different reality where wish casting goes, gaslighting, the Chiefs never get their flowers, and people prey upon our downfall as if it were imminent. But it is now September, and reality sinks in. The Chiefs have been and will be a dynasty. And I'm just ready for the Chiefs to go scorched earth and bring it on the field so we can tune out all this noise and collectively enjoy this beautiful football together.
Yeah, baby. I cannot wait. I am thrilled. We are finally here. I am rocking a Chiefs jumpsuit just because. Look at this bad boy. I'm full on.
Man, I saw you on stage. You were looking clean, man.
That was last year. I was trying to figure out what game it was. Yeah, but it's the same outfit. I'm like, let's throw a picture out there. And it's a fun video. I didn't even know I had that video. But yeah, that was a packed at Power and Light doing a little hyping up the crowd, but I'm hyped up right now. We've been talking, as you've mentioned, all damn offseason. We have heard BTA, belt to ass. We've heard from other fan bases who have not sniffed a Super Bowl in decades, if ever, talk smack. Yet here we are. They've been preying on the Chiefs' downfall. The only issue is the Chiefs are still here, and quite frankly, I think they're back and better than ever. This team, this year, I predict is better than last year's team. Record-wise, maybe not. I don't care about that. When it comes to the playoffs, which is what we here in KC care about, this team is better. But it all starts tonight in Brazil. We are just an hour away from kickoff. We do have the inactive list. I want to go through that because some folks might have some feelings on the inactive list. Jalen Royals, inactive. Jared Wiley, inactive. Elijah Mitchell, inactive. Omar Norman Lott, inactive. Hunter Norzad, inactive. Malik Herring, inactive. Marlon Tuipulotu called up from the practice squad. Now, the name that jumps out, obviously, is Omar Norman Lott, okay? He's injured. It's not a healthy scratch. He's been banged up, right? So I've seen some folks saying, oh, it's a bust already. No. He hasn't even played a game yet. Let's pump the brakes on this one right now. He's a big boy carrying a lot of weight. And when you have, I believe it was an ankle injury, you're going to let that thing rest up, especially on an 11-hour plane ride. We've heard from Jawan Taylor. We've heard time and time again, those trips, when you have an injury, they get inflamed. It just has to do with the air pressure when you're flying, especially that long. So pump the brakes on Omar. I think Elijah Mitchell's interesting. I'm not surprised by this, but I'm almost glad by this. Now, here's why. I'm not happy for Elijah Mitchell. I'm not happy for my fantasy dynasty team who'd had Elijah Mitchell for 5 years, but I think it makes sense because Brashard Smith is your second best returner. It's Nico Remigio, and then who? Last year is Remigio and Carson Steele. This year it's Remigio, it's Brashard Smith with a smattering potential of Jalen Royals, who is also out, right? So Rashard Smith being active, more special teams than anything else, but can he get a handful of touches against a Chargers front seven that I think is suspect, especially against the run? I'm intrigued by this.
Have we gotten an update on Mekhi Becton yet? The new offensive guard for the Chargers that Chiefs fans will remember played for the Eagles last year in the Super Bowl. He was apparently a game time decision.
He has an illness, apparently, when he got there. Let me look up Mekhi Becton. I don't know if the Chargers have had their inactive list put out. Let me go ahead and just take a quick look-see.
Well, that is the first thing I'm looking at in this matchup is without Rashawn Slater, their star left tackle, Joe Alt, who we're both fans of, moves to left tackle. Trey Pipkins is in at right tackle. That's a little scary. We'll get to why that's scary for them. Mekhi Becton at right guard, Bradley Bozeman at center, and Zion Johnson at left guard. Man, I think that Chris Jones is going to be able to pick his spots and find some weak links on this Chargers offensive line. And you may not see that manifest itself in the first half, but I think there in the fourth quarter, he's going to line up. I have a feeling it's Trey Pipkins. We'll see. We know Chris Jones likes to go out there wide and take on tackles late in games and game clinching moments. But I have a feeling him and George Karlaftis are going to have themselves a day today.
So it looks like Mekhi Becton is active. The inactives for the Chargers are safety R.J. Mickens, tight end Tucker Fisk, cornerback Nico Reed, outside linebacker Kyle Kennard, tackle Foster Sorrell, tight end Oronde Gadsden. I apologize, Oronde. I think I just butchered your name. And then defensive lineman Naquin Jones. So that is the inactives for the Chargers, which means Mekhi Becton should be at least active and good to go. I appreciate everyone who's in the chat. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting all year long. If you've been with us all off season, this is your time to shine. I know we also get a boost of folks who come around just for this type of year because they don't care about us in the offseason, which, you know what? I get it. Come on. Who wants to listen to me talk for that much? No one does. Thank you, though, for when you guys do. It does mean a lot to us. Shout out to Phantom for the super chat. Appreciate that. Says Chiefs are going to start Carnival in Brazil 6 months early. LFGA. I don't know the A is for. I think it was an accident.
I don't know either.
Accidental.
But I kind of wanted to wear a little bit of Carnival, for get in the Brazilian spirit. So I'm excited. I'm not excited about this field. I will say that. I'm knocking on wood. The main thing is, of course, you want to win, but you also want to survive this game healthy because I think last year the Chiefs were 15-2, but when you said that this year's team is going to be better, I think what you're talking about is point differential. They are going to put teams away more often. They're going to have more decisive victories. They're going to look better when it comes to the eye test. Even things like EPA and DVOA might be improved, but they could still do all that and maybe be 13-4 instead of 15-2, just because sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles, right?
Yep. Shout out to Joe. He's been a Ring of Honor member for 34 months. Wow, Joe, appreciate you. Says, let's go Chiefs. But before I start, I'd like to call out my wife, Shar, for making me run to pizza place twice on game day because she ordered the wrong sandwich. I love you. I'm assuming you mean your wife, but I'm going to go ahead and assume as well that you're meaning us, and we love you. Thank you, Joe. Oh, by the way, go Chiefs, 36-21. Yeah, drop all of your predictions in the chat. We like hearing those as well. We will give ours a little bit later on in the show. I also saw a Houston defense attorney says he only listens to this on Spotify. He says he's finally putting a face to the voice. Do we look like what you thought? I always enjoy knowing that. Do we look like what you thought we looked like? Any concern with the field? Haven't heard too much about it. The practice field, obviously, for walkthrough wasn't great, but in reality, a lot of times those are done in a ballroom. Those are done in the hotel. So the field itself, when they did the walkthrough yesterday, didn't really matter. It is what it is. Are you nervous at all about the upcoming field?
Yeah. I mean, any stadium that's not accustomed to hosting football games, you have to be a little bit worried. We've seen in the past that last year, the Eagles and Packers had a slip and slide out there. They were falling all over the field, and hopefully Brazil since they're kind of new to hosting NFL, they've kind of improved year over year, and it will be less of an issue. Also, hopefully, the teams will have the right cleats. Sometimes that's not always the case. The Chiefs, however, typically do a pretty good job with that. I mean, the Super Bowl 3 years ago against the Eagles is a perfect example of one team that seemed a little bit more prepared for the field than the other. They have their excuses, but that doesn't matter. The game happened and one team was more prepared. But I think that the Chiefs are going to be ready. They are a well-oiled machine. And if one team is going to be ready to deal with this field, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, Slothy, I know the lighting's doing me no justice right now, especially with the stash. I need to get some lighting fixed in my basement. Again, it's a new studio. We moved here not that long ago. It's still getting everything set up. And yeah, the mustache. I started late this year for the Chiefs stash, but it'll get thick soon. Slothy, don't you worry. This is a good time to do this. Okay. One underdog, and my underdog picks are going to be keys to the game, things I'm watching, and it's going to lead us into the totality of what I'm talking about. So we're going to go with the underdog. I'm going to give you my picks on underdog, and then we'll talk about why I believe in those picks. It'll be a good time. It's going to be a fun time, and you're always going to have fun when you rock with Underdog. It is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions. I'm rocking tackles today and more. So what I'm rocking with, everyone, I have Nick Bolton higher 6.5 tackles plus assists. Okay. We'll get into why I think that in a second, but higher 6.5 tackles plus assists for Bolton. Justin Herbert higher than 225.5 pass yards. It just feels low. It just feels low. And then Travis Kelce, I'm betting on a huge resurgence this year. So I went higher, 48.5 receiving yards. I think tonight, no Rashee Rice, week 1. He's going to try and prove that he's a slimmer, still older, but slimmer, looks younger, Travis Kelce. So I'm going higher, 48.5 yards with Travis Kelce. So if you want to play, go to Underdog right now. Just download the app and sign up with promo code Arrowhead Addict to score $50 in bonus funds when you play with your first $5. That's promo code Arrowhead Addict. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. In New York, call it 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I'm just looking at the chat. We got Slothy, we got Possum, we got angry drunken German. It's like Avengers assembled, man. We really are back, and the vibes are good, man. I'm feeling good about tonight. I know we don't have Rashee Rice, but if you look at the situation with Josh Simmons, Xavier Worthy getting acclimated, hopefully Hollywood Brown, a healthy Isaiah Pacheco. I think Brashard Smith's going to add something. I think Tyquan Thornton has to be respected when it comes to his ability to stretch the field. Ashton Gelati was looking good in the preseason. I think Christian Fulton is going to be a good addition. You're right. That's the funny thing about all the people saying that the Broncos are going to win the AFC West and this is the year the Chiefs don't go to the Super Bowl. They're set up a lot better than they were a year ago. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah. No, I 100% believe that. I think that this Chiefs team is positioned better. Now, again, we'll find out with Rashee Rice missing the first 6 weeks, but at least you have Hollywood Brown to alleviate some of those concerns. You have Xavier Worthy now a full year integrated into the offense. Defensively, we'll see what they look like in the secondary. Sans Justin Reed, I do think that's at least a slight talking point to mention. No Turk Wharton, who can step up and fill that role. But again, overall, when you have Patrick and you have what we all believe to be the left tackle spot figured out, that's going to give him a lot of time, which opens up the offense in turn. Plus, a healthy Isaiah Pacheco. He looked very good, at least in my opinion, in the preseason. Also, by the way, shout out to Houston defense attorney. Welcome to the Ring of Honor. Appreciate you. I saw that in the chat too as well. Yeah, next time you come up to KC, you said you have season tickets. We can grab a beer. We'll go to KC Beer Co. We'll go around somewhere and we'll crush one. Sounds like a great time. But the reason why I want to Talk about Nick Bolton first and foremost. This is why I threw it into the underdog. It's Harbaugh. It's week 1. They're going to run the rock a lot. A lot of play action, obviously, but they're going to run the ball with not just Najee Harris, who looks like he's good to go with the fireworks injury to his eye. Nice. But Amarian Hampton, the rookie from North Carolina. I think he's the better running back to begin with. I actually think this might help to an extent. I don't want to say help because you don't wish injury on anyone, but you saw it with the Steelers for a while. Najee Harris just is not very efficient. Jalen Warren was the better back there, the more efficient back there. And it was a long time before you saw a split really transpire. I think you'll see a lot more Amarian Hampton now, and quite frankly, as a Chiefs guy, makes me a little nervous because I think that Amarian Hampton is a damn good back.
I think he is the better back, but I think we might act like Najee Harris is a little grosser than he is. He's had the only running back in the NFL over the past 4 seasons to have 1,000 yards each year. So he's very durable. He's always moving forward. He's tough. He's reliable. He's a good blocker. He is not sexy, but if Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, is looking for his new Gus Edwards, his new Gus Bus, he's found it. I think he's found it. You know, fans might be scratching their head. Why is Najee Harris getting 12 carries when we have Amarian Hampton? But they could not run the football last year because of the backs they had and because of that offensive line. So I agree with you. They're going to establish the run. They're going to try to shove both these guys down our throat. I feel great about the linebackers. Defensive tackle depth might be, along with kind of leadership in the secondary, might be the weakest links in this Chiefs defense. So I suspect they will come out and try to punch the Chiefs in the mouth.
Matt Connor, I love you. He put in the chat, Greg Roman Candle, in regards to Najee Harris. My goodness, Matt.
The pun master. He's back.
Wow. Salathi, it's that time of year for spam, according to Angry Drunken German. Yes. Yeah, it is. It is angry. It is time for all this spam in the chat. You know how it goes. But I'm all in on Nick Bolton in this particular game. Justin Herbert seemingly has some of his better games against KC. The issue is for him, it hasn't translated to a lot of wins. The Chiefs are going for their 8th straight victory over the Chargers. They have won the last 7. I will also point out KC, they are undefeated overseas in the Andy Reid era. They are 3-0. They've won in Brazil, Mexico City, and in London. Germany.
Right?
Sorry, Germany. I apologize. They are 1-0 over the Chargers, but that was not with Harbaugh. So we don't have a track record for Harbaugh. But I do think there's something to a lot of these players in Andy. They know how to make this thing work. When you look at what Green Bay did last year, they tried going down a week early. They got down there and realized they can't do anything in Brazil. They were locked in their hotel. They didn't have security set up for them to do anything. It was a disaster for them. Andy Reid has done this. He's made these long travels, these overseas, international games before, and they've been successful. So I do think there's value to that, and it is why I think the Chiefs have an edge on a situation in a game where I think it's brutal for both teams.
And the Chiefs have played on every day of the week. They've played on Christmas, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. They play a lot on Monday, Sunday, and Thursday night. I think they are prepared for irregular, game situations, for irregular game prep. And Andy Reid, minus a couple of Super Bowls where they didn't show up, is as good as it gets in the history of this league when you give him multiple weeks to prepare for a team. And that's what he has tonight. I mean, really, he has the whole summer to prepare for the Chargers. One thing that I keep thinking about is I am glad Mike Williams is retired. That guy was an absolute Chiefs killer, right? I don't know why that keeps popping into my brain. I'm looking at this receiving core, and Keenan Allen's not what he used to be, and Ladd McConkey is a stud, but the rest of those guys don't really scare me. And I'm just glad Big Mike is gone. Yeah,
100%. It's going to help the Chiefs cornerback room when they are not as McDuffie's their best corner, and him against Mike Williams would not be good because of the size differential. I like McDuffie on Ladd McConkey. That fits and feels like a better matchup for KC, even though my thoughts. I think Ladd McConkey is just an incredible player. I am a little nervous about Keenan Allen. He had a down year last year, obviously, but before he went to the Bears, he was outstanding still with the Chargers. And is that a Caleb Williams situation or a Keenan Allen situation? Maybe a little bit of both, but I think Caleb Williams played a fairly large factor in that.
And I would even add that it might have been a Shane Waldron problem, the offensive coordinator for Chicago, because if you look at yards per route run, Rome Odunze wasn't good. DJ Moore wasn't good. Keenan Allen wasn't good. And we think Rome Odunze and DJ Moore are good players, right? So maybe Keenan Allen isn't washed. Maybe it was just he was in a bad offensive environment. And now that he's back home in San Diego, Los Angeles, wherever the Chargers play, he's going to feel more comfortable and get reacclimated as Herbert's safety blanket. But I don't know. I think Ladd McConkey's the guy.
Wiley Possum said, would love to see Hunt and Pops both get double-digit carries tonight. If that happens, KC wins by multiple scores. I have an interesting thought here. Andy Reid does not like to lean on the run, but he has before. It's just not often. He has in certain games, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire against the Buffalo Bills. So it is an outlier when he does it, but he has shown to do it before. I wonder if early in this game, we see a lot of either Hunt or Pacheco running, especially to the left side. The reason being is Kingsley Suamataia has been a really good run blocker. Pass pro has still been a struggle for him. Well, do you want to give him some confidence early for a guy who it sounded like, according to Veach, saying but not saying him, lost his confidence early and was unplayable after game 2 last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let him build up some confidence early, run behind him, let him be a road grader for a few snaps, and then let him try and get his confidence back and try and thrive in pass pro or hold his own in pass pro. Because there's not a lot of great edge rushers and even interior rushers on the Chargers right now. You have Tuipulotu, who's solid. He is the Karlaftis equivalent on that team, right? You have Khalil Mack. At his age, still phenomenal. He's like their Chris Jones, but strictly on the outside. When it comes to the interior, Deshaun Hand isn't going to move the needle at all, at least in my opinion. There's a guy that I cannot say his name, so I'm not going to. And then they have Teair Tart. Teair Tart has been actually really good last year, according to PFF. Really solid player, but it's not a Chris Jones. It's not a Quinnen Williams. It's not a Leonard Williams. Like, I think that the Chiefs actually have a slight advantage running the football, especially against a suspect linebacker core of the Chargers. I would like to see the Chiefs run the ball early to give Kingsley some confidence.
I agree with you about their overall linebacking core, but I love Deion Henley. I think he is a budding star in the league, and as kind of Khalil Mack and Derwin James sunset a little bit, he might be the leader of this Chargers defense going forward. So that's a guy to watch out for. What's his number? His number is number 0. Not very hard to remember. So watch out for him. The other thing that coming out and establishing the run does is it makes play action more effective, right? We all know you can run play action and it's somewhat effective, even if you're not really running. But if you're proving you can run the ball, that's going to help. And I would love for Patrick Mahomes to take an early deep shot and bring that element back right from the get and tell other defensive coordinators, hey, you can't play us like you used to. The old Chiefs are back. The other thing is we spent this entire summer wondering if Isaiah Pacheco was ever going to be the same again. And I was really encouraged during the preseason. I mean, he looked like he got shot out of a cannon. He was running so hard, he ran into a literal wall. So he looks spry, he looks fast, he looks like the Isaiah Pacheco that Chiefs fans know and love. And I think that is going to be really helpful. And we'll see how many snaps Brashard Smith gets tonight. I know we all want to see him play, but I think some of that's going to hinge on whether the Chiefs think that he can pass protect their billion-dollar quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I had to take a bet right now in the opening play of the game, they're going to line up in shotgun formation, and it's going to be a handoff.
A draw?
Oh, it's going to be a little handoff, little inside zone to Pacheco.
I'd like to see just take a shot to Tyquan. See if see if the chemistry we finally found a guy that has downfield chemistry naturally with Patrick Mahomes, other than Tyreek Hill. We've had McCole, Worthy, all these other guys haven't been able to get on the same page. MVS. So I'm hopeful Thornton can. That's the guy with Rashee Rice out. If he wants to kind of salvage his career and stick around in this league, it is time for Tyquan Thornton.
It's funny. I've always thought this because it feels like the first play of almost every season opener. It's going to be a run play just to get the emotions, the feel of the game, get your
jitters
right? Out, right? Just get a play in, especially in Brazil. But how funny would it be? Because the Chargers would not expect it. This is the time, if you're ever going to run a flea flicker, the first play of the game in another country would be the time. Give it to Pacheco on that inside little zone carry. Toss back to Patrick with Tyquan running down there somewhere. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like if there's ever a time, now's the time.
You know why I like that? I think when the Chiefs are doing their Harlem Globetrotters act, they play with even more confidence. I mean, they're a very confident team, but when they're having fun out there and doing things that other teams don't do, like the whole snow globe thing against the Raiders, let's bring it back, baby. Let's have some fun out there. Let's go full Globetrotters.
That's when you know it's fun. You're right. That's when you know that they're loose. They got no cares in the world. I do think that this, I hate taking a lot away from a game that's week 1 against a divisional opponent overseas, or at least another continent. But I am intrigued and enthused to see how this team, especially the superstars, come out, because there are some wounds that they're licking. There are some memories of and rumblings of the Chiefs dynasty is over. But this happened year after year with Tom Brady. The issue is a lot of times with the Patriots and Tom, they started off slow. And then they would give the media, I think a reason is a strong way of saying it, but at least a small reason to wonder if it's over. Chiefs can't do that. I don't think they will do that. You heard Chris Jones. You've heard Travis Kelce. You've heard Patrick Mahomes. You've heard the guys like Trent McDuffie, like Carl Loftus, that all they know is Super Bowls. And they finally lose one. And they're like, what happened? I thought we just win this every single year. This sucks. Like, this is not a team in my mind that is just going to say, well, we'll get it next time. I think they're going to come out and try and prove a point.
They've had a bitter taste in their mouth for 6 months. And I think they do want to come out and send a message. The last thing they want to do tonight is come out and lay an egg and give the naysayers more fuel for the fire. I think that's what you're pointing out. And they've had a bitter taste, in their mouth for 6 months. I just can't imagine that this isn't the most dialed in Chiefs team we've seen in some time. So, and I think they're also freed from the burden of a three-peat, and that may allow them to play a little looser, because last time we saw them, they looked very, very tight. Actually, the thing about the last time we saw them, no previous NFL team had ever been in that position. So I don't think we can underestimate how difficult, how much pressure they were under, being the first team in the Super Bowl with the opportunity to three-peat on that night. It had never happened before.
Yeah. Let's go into 3 things to watch in this game. I think number 1 for me, I want to see if Trent McDuffie, if he follows Ladd McConkey. Okay. I want to see if he does that. And maybe it's Keenan Allen. Maybe he plays on the outside exclusively. Maybe he plays in the slot exclusively. We'll find out. But I do want to see what Trent McDuffie does in this game, which in turn is who's going to be the second cornerback, Christian Fulton, Jalen Watson. I'm really intrigued to see the usage of Trent McDuffie against a team where it feels like his best attribute would be following Ladd McConkey.
And that also affects how we're going to see the utilization for Chamari Connor. I think it's optimal not to have him strictly play in the slot all night. And during the last game on 3rd down, we did see Trent McDuffie move into the slot and Christian Fulton come out on the field and play on the outside. So I'm curious to see if we'll see more of that. The first thing I'm watching is Charles Omenihu. Charles Omenihu was coming off an ACL surgery last year. He had a good year. I don't think he looked as good as he did in the previous season. The last time we saw him before that ACL injury, he was stripping Lamar Jackson in the AFC Championship game. He looked like a monster. He's racking up sacks and forcing fumbles almost on a weekly basis. So I'm wondering if that guy's back tonight. And I wonder if one solution to their lack of depth on the inside, following Mike Pennell and Turk Wharton going to other teams in Carolina and Cincinnati, if moving Charles Omenihu inside is part of the recipe to solving the lack of depth there.
Yeah. Number 2, Jawaan Taylor. I know it's not the offensive lineman that I think a lot of people thought I was going to say, but he had talked about the travel and what it does to his knee, right? He had to get surgery in the offseason, obviously, but it sounded like it's still not great. He doesn't practice on turf, right? He still's out doing that. And he had talked about on an 11-hour flight, all the things he had to do to make sure that that thing didn't swell up to where it was going to be a bother for him. So I guess for me, Jawaan Taylor, I also think there's so much at stake for him. Obviously, we all know this is going to be his last year here in KC, even though there's 2 years left on his contract. I'm intrigued because you have Jalen Moore right there knocking on the door. Does Jawaan Taylor respond and say, he ain't taking my job? I know I'm on my last year, but this is my job for one more year. I'm going to prove that it's my job for one more year. So I think Jawaan Taylor, there could be a little bounce back season for Jawaan in the making. Don't think it's going to be great, but I think it might be a little better than what we have seen. So I'll say Jawaan Taylor. I'm intrigued by him with the travel and what that does to the knee.
I'm very intrigued too. He had that knee drained a bunch last season. That had to affect him. And also, we're further removed now from the league's emphasis on those early starts for tackles. Maybe he won't be in his head as much about all those flags. I would love to see him not be the most penalized player in a season for once. I don't think the bar is that high. For me, my number 2 thing is the tight end position. Noah Gray. He's become a number 2 kind of security blanket for Patrick Mahomes. He really trusts Noah Gray in big moments. Even if he doesn't funnel targets his way, when he needs someone who's going to squeeze the football and make a play, he often looks to Noah Gray. Big Bob Tonyan. Can we get something out of him? Because if those guys show up and make an impact, that means Travis Kelce isn't going to have to play 80% of the snaps. I know Travis Kelce is going to have fresh legs tonight. I mean, at least I hope I do. But we need him to have fresh legs early next year. So I know a couple of people in the chat mentioned load management. We'll just have to see how many snaps Travis Kelce plays tonight.
Yeah. I guess my third one would be Isaiah Pacheco. I'm excited. And I don't want to say a hater of Pacheco, but I just think he had been overvalued by some folk. I think because his running style is exciting, because he always pops back up, I think people overvalued the actual efficiency of Isaiah Pacheco. But I think I was too hard on him because the first couple of games last year, Pacheco looked really dang good. Just like a really solid running back. Again, not top 5, top 10, but like a RB1 in the NFL. And then he got injured and came back early. And because we had that lasting memory of him looking bad, because he came back early, we all just assume that he's washed. And I've talked about how if his athleticism goes, he doesn't have the vision to be a viable NFL running back. But it looks like the athleticism did not go. And he's never going to be the best one-cut guy. He's never going to be a guy that can maintain high-end speed while also changing direction. Some guys can do it. That's just not his strength. But he looked better in the preseason in limited action. I completely guaranteed and granted. But we've heard and talked about, he's trying to take a grown man's job. Rashard Smith's knocking on the door saying, I'm trying to take a grown man's job. Kareem Hunt last year came back in and took a grown man's job. So I think Pacheco wants to hold on to that grown man's job, and he has a lot to prove. I'm excited to see Isaiah Pacheco in a regular season game down here in Brazil with this offensive line. Pacheco's my number 3.
The other thing about Pacheco and his job is it's been reported that the Chiefs have been shopping for a running back. So you could see another team ship a guy at the deadline. And if the Chiefs aren't happy with what they've got, they could make a move. But I was a fellow Isaiah Pacheco skeptic this summer. He runs into contact. He's had a lot of injuries. He normally plays through them, but the last half of last season when he came back, he was just not the same guy. And running backs like him who run into contact and aren't super elusive, the fans love them, but these guys have short shelf lives. They just do not typically last long. The Ahmad Bradshaws, the Marion Barbers, those type guys. And so I've been a little bit worried, but he looked very good in the preseason. So I'm with you. Number 3 for me, I want to see, who are we kidding? It's Josh Simmons. We got to talk about Josh Simmons because we've been waiting all year. We've got a glimpse at what we think is the future franchise tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be Patrick Mahomes' blindside protector, we hope, for the rest of Mahomes' career, unless Mahomes plays until he's 45 or something. And hopefully we will be that lucky. I'd love that. But he just has looked probably even better than advertised, because I think having him slip until the 31st overall pick, people were like, well, that many teams are passing on him. There must be, he must be damaged goods. But the thing about that is Brett Veach has extreme job security. He can make a bet that maybe some other general managers cannot bet. And he made that bet, and it looks like it's going to be maybe the second best bet he's made behind the original Patrick Mahomes bet that got him the job, right? So I think Josh Simmons has the best feet we've probably seen in the Chiefs tackle since Mahomes has been here. That includes Eric Fisher. He is just a really good athlete. I think he gets a little grabby and maybe he can deliver a little bit more punch. But what I'm seeing, not this year, but what I'm seeing down the road is a future All-Pro.
Yeah. Again, one more time, Chiefs inactives for tonight's game versus LA. Jalen Royals, Jared Wiley, Elijah Mitchell, Omar Norman-Lott, Hunter Norzad, Malik Herring. Again, Omar Norman-Lott is injury-based, not performance-based, so something to keep in mind there. Jalen Royals, last I saw, did not actually travel with the team. Makes sense, again, with the knee swelling. Jared Wiley, the Chiefs chose, obviously, Big Bob Tunyon over him. All right, before we get to score predictions and a little more in depth with the game, the final thoughts before the kickoff of the first Chiefs game of the 2025 season. This is something that's badass. Something I wish I'd have taken last night. Something that I took on last Saturday that helped me a lot. And that right there is Z-Biotics. There is a game-changing product I like to use, and you should use it every night before a night out with drinks. It's called pre-alcohol. After a night with drinks, at my age, and I'm only 31, I do not bounce back like I used to. It is a struggle. I can either have a great night or a great next day until I found pre-alcohol. And let me tell you, you will feel fresh waking up with pre-alcohol. It's called Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink, and it's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here is how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break down this byproduct. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Again, I have noticed a difference personally in the difference between when I take the pre-alcohol versus when I don't. It is a massive, massive difference. I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, there's no chance. Come on now. There's a huge difference. And I noticed it when I did not take it last night. I was struggling this morning. So raise your glass to the Chiefs. And whether you're tailgating, enjoying a college game day tomorrow in my Z, or watching Sunday's action on that fancy new TV, don't forget Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink, a pre-alcohol before drinking, and enjoy great days after celebrating all season long. So make sure you go to zbiotics.com/Arrowhead to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Arrowhead at checkout. Z-Biotics is back with 100% money-back guarantees. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. zbiotics.com/Arrowhead. Arrowhead at checkout, 15% off.
What a game changer. I swear, every 5 years, hangovers get much more severe. And when you get to my age in the mid-40s, I mean, you have a hangover and you're like, I'm never going to drink again. And you don't for a long time. At least
Shout out to Vladimir Putin. Welcome back. Go Chiefs. Shout out. Thank you for the super chat. Steven, let's go Chiefs. Let's start the season off with a bang. Looking forward to seeing Josh Simmons, Pittsburgh Steve. Hey, appreciate you, Pittsburgh Steve. Always appreciate you. Damn, am I excited. We're 20 minutes away. This is the most excited I've been for a season, I think, in a little bit. I know people will call me crazy with the three-peat on the line, but sometimes when you get this silver spoon ripped out of your mouth, now you have to use plastic, you want that silver spoon back again, okay? What am I supposed to do? Eat caviar with a plastic spoon? Fat chance. It'll ruin the caviar. That's what it feels like right now being a Chiefs fan. I'm not going to pretend like we're in the bottom. We're not the Panthers. We're not the Giants, okay? I can't pretend that we're the Saints right now, but we're using a plastic fork right now, okay? The Eagles took our silver spoon and said, that's our silver spoon. You can't use it, okay? Maybe it was bone because that doesn't mess with the caviar. I've never had caviar, but I know a lot about the spoon used for some reason. I don't know. It's in a book.
It's great stuff.
So get the damn silver spoon back, Chiefs, and that starts tonight. We're done with plastic.
We're done. I think the best Mahomes is a Mahomes that's backed into a corner that, has been punched in the mouth and is tasting his own blood. Chris Jones is the same way. I think Travis is the same way. Those guys respond well to adversity. They always have. And we're going to see another example of that tonight. I really am excited too. This was a hard summer after how spoiled we had been to have the entire league kind of like laughing at us after being boat raced. And it was incredible because after Super Bowl 55, I was like, well, this will never happen again. And then it did. I was like that, to new football fans and new Chiefs fans, it's like that James Franco meme when he's by the noose and he says first time. It's just unbelievable that we went through this again. But that's why we know the Chiefs are going to bounce back and respond, because we have already seen it with our own two eyes. They did it after that embarrassing Bucs Super Bowl. So I'm feeling good.
By the way, everyone listening, appreciate everyone being here. Start dropping your prediction in the chat. I love going through these. If you did it already earlier on, drop it again now, just so we can take a little look-see at it, because I like to see what the listeners and all of y'all think. It's always enjoyable. Also, by the way, I had a really fun interview with Josh Allen. It was a 17-minute long one-on-one I had with the Bills quarterback, and I was really proud of the interview because I thought it was a lot of fun. I think he's really enjoyable. I know some folks, they just can't do it because it's the Bills. I don't have the vitriol or the anger towards Buffalo. I almost feel bad for them, right? But it is fun. I do bring up the 13-second game to him. In fairness, we weren't in the same room, so I can bring up the 13-second game because I have I'm not scared to get my ass kicked by him in that moment. In real life, probably, but he's a nice guy, so I don't think he would. But we talk about the 13-second game. So if you want to check that out, go to Fansided on YouTube. Fansided. And you'll see the interview with Josh Allen. Some scores coming in now. Houston says 27-17, angry. 24-19 Chiefs. Ooh, interesting little score there. Sean, 31-10 Chiefs. Vladimir Putin, 35-24 Chiefs. Phantom, Chiefs 27-21. Wiley Possum, 32-24 Chiefs. That's what I have the score of the Mizzou KU game, by the way. Slothy, 23-16 Chiefs. Oregon, Chiefs 31-17. Adam Best, which way you leaning?
21-17 Chiefs. I think that maybe even at halftime, the Chargers could have the lead. It's possible. I think they're a well-coached team. I expect them to come out firing on all cylinders, but I think the Chiefs are going to make the better halftime adjustments. And I ultimately think the speed that the Chiefs have on the outside with Worthy, Brown, and Thornton, those young cornerbacks, Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart, they were great as rookies. I think they're going to be tested, and I think the Chiefs are going to get them.
So you said 21-17,
yep.
Correct? You're going a little lower scoring game. Why do you think the lower scoring game?
Because I looked at last year, and in their two victories, the Chiefs combined for 36 points against the Chargers last year. These just have not been high-scoring environments. Now, maybe the Chiefs play with a faster pace. Last year, they intentionally tried to drag out games, limit the amount of possessions, and then lean on situational football, experience, and play calling. And also, Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes being clutch to win all those tight games. I don't know if they're going to do that, but until I see otherwise, I'm picking a close game because that's just what the Chiefs do in the regular season, right?
Yeah. Joshua Clayton says 24-17. How about those Chiefs? KCDC 32-16. Good seeing you yesterday, by the way, KCDC, in that quick little chat. 5-0 Steve-O, 27-13 Chiefs. Wink 34-6. Beat down being predicted by Wink. I'm going to go ahead and rock with what I said today earlier on radio. Mine's a little higher scoring. I think it can be higher scoring when I have some concern for the field. I think sometimes that can be an advantage for the offense because if you know where you're going, even if it is slippery, you at least know where you're going. It's harder to react at times on a slippery field. Again, hopefully the field's great. Just throwing that caveat out there. I like 27-24 Chiefs. I think it's a close game. The Chiefs and Chargers, but it's the Chiefs. They play close games. It's what they do. But they also come away with victories in close games. I'm rolling with KC. I'm rolling with Patrick. I went with a higher scoring game because I also believe that the offense is going to show what they lacked last year. I think there's going to be at least 3 20-yard receptions this game for KC. And not just like a screen pass that goes for 20, but like at least 15 plus, 20 plus air yards. Like I think you're going to see a revitalized passing attack by this Kansas City Chiefs team. So that's why I'm going with KC 27.
I would love to look up and check the stats after tonight's game and see that Mahomes' yards per attempt looked more like, I don't know, 2021, 2020, 19, 18 than the last couple of years where there's been a precipitous drop. Out of necessity, I mean, the Chiefs have just wanted him to play perfect dink and dunk football, and he's obliged. He's been able to do it. He's the guy that can play any way you need him to, but the way I like him to play is dropping bombs on the opposition's head. So
this is great from Wink. Predictions are meaningless, so why not predict a big win? You know what? Honestly, respect it. Good call. It's true. I mean, I like to think we all of our predictions have a massive outcome on the game. Let's be real now. You know, it's like the curse if everyone always picks on national media. If they all pick the same team, you know that team's losing, right? That's how it goes. But no, I guess you're right. If you're going to predict something, predict a beatdown. I don't mind that thought process. We will be doing a post-game show. We will be back. Adam Best, I believe you're there as well. Price Carter will be there. Patrick Allen will be there. I will be there. So we'll be having a hopeful victory party after the Chiefs game in Brazil. I hope
the 4 horsemen. We got it.
4 horsemen. All right, touchdown predictor. Where you going? Before we get out of here, I went 27-24. You went 21-17.
Mm-hmm.
Who scores a touchdown for KC?
Worthy. And let's see. Kareem Hunt. No Gray.
Okay. I'm going Pacheco gets 1. I am going Travis Kelce gets 1. I might go Big Bob Tunyon.
Oh, baby.
I might go Big Bob.
That would be really fun.
Big Bob. That might be a nice little sprinkle parlay, a little touchdown parlay. That'd be wild if that hit. Okay. I might just throw a little something on that. That was a lot of fun, guys. We are back. I am so excited that everyone is back with us. Thank you so much to the chat. This is so enjoyable having the plethora of folk hanging, commenting, liking. If you want to give us a like, we do really appreciate that. Again, we'll be back with the post-game show. Myself, Adam Best, Patrick Allen, Price Carter. But you might be wondering, what happens at halftime? Who shall I listen to? Well, right here, baby. Price Carter. Price Carter has you at halftime. So until then, appreciate everyone. We are back, baby. Until halftime, we are out.